Good evening, friends, and happy Halloween, although it is past midnight, so it's technically November 1st. But you know what? This is my Halloween vlog, so whatever. It is Monday, October 31st of 2022, and we're already almost out of the year, which is really weird to think about. But hey, you know what today is? Today marks a full month of recording YouTube videos. I've actually committed to a full month, and that is kind of weird. I didn't think I'd be able to. I've had a lot of rough days this month, but every single day I made sure I recorded something, even if it's only a few minutes long. I'm more than okay with that. And it feels nice. It feels good to have gotten that accomplished. That's been a goal of mine to start committing to a project. And I think I heard that if you do something for about 21 days or something like that, it becomes a habit. And I could say at this point it has more or less become a habit. I'm still pretty lenient about my upload time, more or less. Especially if I've had a rough night previously or didn't get much sleep, and I want to sleep in and it's a day off or something, I'll let myself sleep in and just upload the video late. You know, it's whatever. But actually sitting down to record at least a few minutes every day is what my ultimate goal was. And I feel like I've met that goal. Well, yeah, no, I've met that goal, and I'm just gonna keep going. I want to see how long I can record this vlog and just kind of journey through life and document at least little pieces of it on YouTube. I'm just talking with the camera with the tripod, so I'm always thankful to have both hands free, and it's also nice to not hold my hand up like this all the time. It's really nice. It's been a good Halloween, I'd say. The workday was not very busy, which is surprising for a weekday. But I feel like I actually had more calls on Saturday than I had today, which is weird. But I suppose probably because today is a holiday, not a lot of people want to deal with it. And a lot of people have called in ahead of time prior to the rest of the holiday season, so who knows, maybe we're just slow at the moment, but that's okay. It's the calm before the storm, because I guess November is supposed to be our busy month, so that's gonna be great. Totally not dreading that at all. Nah, it's alright though. Actually, I have come to, I've learned a few things recently. I don't know if I talked about any of it, or my newest discovery I didn't talk about on the vlog yet, but I think I've explained a little bit about... Yeah, I think I might have talked about it in yesterday's vlog, about procrastination comes from fear, because our amygdala, the little thing we developed when we were all Neanderthals, goes like, danger, danger, you're gonna be made to feel inadequate, blah blah blah, you're gonna die. Like, our brains do that, and that causes us to procrastinate, because when we put it off, that's like, okay, we can run away from this problem, but the problem's gonna keep coming back. My brain's like, don't care, run. That's literally how our brains function when it comes to procrastination, and a lot of situations with anxiety as well, now that I think about it. Now, take my words with a grain of salt, I'm no expert. I always need to preface that when I go off on these preachy tangents. But I discovered that that's like part of it, and we need to kind of... I can't remember the lesson I actually talked about. If you want a better explanation, just watch yesterday's vlog. I talk about it in more detail there, I believe. But my second discovery is the one I actually remember more clearly. Also, I don't know why I'm gesturing with the TV remote, but, you know, it's a useful tool. The thing I learned, it's kind of like a thing that's suggested to people, I think, with ADHD, where, because like when you have ADHD or some form of it, I've heard of people saying like, I've got some letters like indicating that you have like ADHD or something along those lines, and I kind of like that way of putting it. I don't know, it just seems like a pleasant, silly way of saying it, but it's a way of dealing with the... Or, okay, let me circle back around. I'm losing track of what I'm saying, of course. People who deal with those sorts of problems deal with something called executive dysfunction, or executive function disorder, or something like that. It's a... Executive function is our ability for... It's our brain's ability to break things down into simple tasks. And people with ADHD, instead of seeing things as like a list of tasks to do, we tend to see like we see it as like one big giant task, and it's like, oh my god, I can't do all that, instead of like breaking it down to bullet points, which I think quote unquote regular people do, but I don't actually know. This is only something I just recently learned how to do, and I'm still gonna try to learn. I have no doubt I'm gonna struggle with it more going forward, but it's something I did learn, and I guess like that's executive dysfunction, just not having the ability to do that, and seeing problems as a whole instead of just taking smaller steps. But the most important thing I've ever learned when it comes to doing things like that feel overwhelming is literally take it one step at a time. And it's much easier said than done. Like if you're dealing with this mental stuff, it's like that's actually just something in your brain that's not going to help you. It's nice to practice though. Something I've been doing is I have this Discord server all to myself. It's like a journal Discord server, so that way I can use it on both my phone and my laptop if I want to. I have like a personal journal, a dream journal, a journal for like philosophy, bullet points, like things to keep in mind for writing. I have a whole bunch of crap for it. It's a really convenient thing to do, by the way. I'd highly recommend it. But one of those, I have two channels. I have, I can't remember the name of the first one. It's quest objectives, and then completed objectives. So when I have tasks set before me, or if there's something I want to do, instead of just saying that one thing, I'll write it down almost like a quest objective in a video game, like a checklist in Xenoblade or something like that, indicating, okay, so for this one big quest, talk to this person, check, gather this material, check, fight this enemy, check, quest completed. So instead of just looking at this one big quest, you look at it as individual tasks. So that's something I've been trying to do. I actually literally have one of my bullet points as being remember to break things down into smaller tasks instead of looking at it as one big thing. And it's actually kind of helped, especially today during work. Instead of looking at the workday as, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk to so many people, my voice is going to be shot, I'm like, okay, my first task is to open up my phone. Second task, open up my notepad, and so on. And then next, it's like, okay, I get a call. First step, say my opening line. Second step, listen to the person talking. Third step, so on. Instead of looking at things as one big picture and getting overwhelmed, it's a matter of like intentionally narrowing your point of view. Not from like a moral standpoint, of course not. You never want to do that. But narrowing how you're looking at the task that you're being faced with. And it's difficult. It's not going to be something that's easy to do right off the bat. So if that's something you want to try and struggle with, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, it's totally fine if you struggle with it. I'm still learning, but I just really like the concept of it. It's really helpful when it comes to things that generally overwhelm you. And then if it's people overwhelming you, I mean, you can't help that very much, but it's at least important to try breaking things down. Even things like talking. Right now, instead of just record the vlog as my quest, it's like, okay, put one word in front of the other. String a sentence together. Take time to think if you need to. It doesn't matter if there's a moment of silence, I can think. And if the silence ends up being too long, I can edit it out. I probably wouldn't because I'm lazy, but if I look in the sound waves of the vlog when I'm editing in Vegas Pro, or Sony Vegas, or whatever it's called, and I see that there's one particular line where not a whole lot has happened, maybe I'll cut it out. Maybe. But I hope you guys get the point. Kind of learning to break things down into simple tasks helps a lot with people who get easily overwhelmed, and I know I'm one of those people. And I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say I have ADHD, but I definitely share a lot of tendencies and a lot of the mental symptoms that come along with it. So that's why this sort of thing is something I want to do. I want to not necessarily fix myself, but I want to fix some of my habits. I want to make better habits. I mean, tomorrow's the first day of NaNoWriMo. I want this to be the first month where I consistently write, I think it's like 1,600 words a day. I think that's the goal, to reach 50,000 by the end of the month. I want to consistently write every single day. Every NaNoWriMo I've participated in, there's always been 1 or 2 days where I couldn't write. So I want to make this like the 1 month where I do. And I've recorded 1 vlog every single day this month. And I'll be doing so during NaNoWriMo too, so why can't I write every day? And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Also, note to self, in case I ever watch this future vlog, make sure you write your book and know it's gonna be crap, because it's totally okay to write a crap first draft, and then just make your second draft amazing. That's something I need to keep remembering, because something I've done for years is I write the first draft assuming that's the draft that's going to be published, because, I don't know, I always thought that I always had to write, and then, like, it has to be perfect the first time. That's what stopped me from writing a lot of the stories I've started. But that's unrealistic. Most authors don't do that. Write a first crappy draft, and then work on a second draft that's based on the first, but better. So I'll probably spend November writing that crappy draft, take a break in December, and then start working on the second draft in January, and try to get the 5th book published by... I'll say my goal is like July of 2023. That's my goal. Anyway, there I go on a whole tangent, and it's in the same vein of the conversation though. I want to make sure to break it down into smaller, bite-sized chunks. So step 1, turn on the laptop. Good. Step 2, open up Google Docs. Good. Step 3, write a letter. Write the rest of the letters that form a word. Write more words to form a sentence. Write more words, or write more sentences to form a paragraph. Write a chunk of words. Take a break. Come back to the laptop. Write another chunk of words. Rinse and repeat the cycle until you've reached your word count goal for the day. It's so simple when you put it like that. It's a lot harder in practice, but it's something I just want to keep in mind. And hey, if anyone's watching who's also participating in NaNoWriMo 2022, and you struggle with executive function like I do, hey, maybe give it a try as well. And also, put distractions away. That's something I learned a lot. Like, if you're gonna do something like that, set your phone down, turn it off even. If you're listening to music, make sure you're not listening to it on YouTube if you can help it, because YouTube will send you down a rabbit hole of just shit. So listen on Spotify, listen on like Apple Music, whatever you use. Just something other than YouTube so you don't go down this rabbit hole of videos. That'll be my goal. I also want to limit my video game time this month while I write, so that way I can spend more time working on it. But yeah, I guess that's been a bit of a tangent for today's very first episode, special Halloween. Halloween was supposed to go before special, but yeah! You guys are fantastic, by the way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful day, and like always, I'll see you tomorrow.